Oh, perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Okay. All right, ready to rock and roll. Okay. No, so the so when we were the other day, so I got to go to the tour championship yesterday. And it was I got invited by a company and so you know Peter Millar,
Of
right?
course, it's golf,
So
dude.
oh, yeah, yeah, of course I do. So the I went into their merch station and it was like just giant. Of course, you're in the middle of East Lake, right? It's just sweltering hot in Atlanta. The traffic's horrible, but once you get off, it's like the Shangri-La, right? You got all these people in really cool hats, really nice shirts. That stuff is so light, it's so stretchy. And so when I was there, they said, "Hey, why don't you pick out a shirt? We'll buy you a shirt." I was like, "Oh my gosh, thanks, Dad." That's so. But I got a Peter Millar shirt and I got it in a medium. So the next podcast that I do, I'm gonna wear that one just to kind of get that whole golf look, right? Because you like the golf look. And I think I'm just gonna be popping out of it. It's gonna be great. So
Well, look, some of those cuts are old man style and
yeah.
the sleeves are too big. So the athletic styles, it's funny because a lot of these guys will go, I've had guys ask me like, dude, like how much do you work out? Are you flexing? You like flex? And I'm like, no, I'm swinging a golf club and whatever you see is what you see. But okay, guys, I mean, there's a lot of freaking, come on, there's a lot of string beans playing golf, dude.
Yeah, so I loved it when Tiger Woods came out of the gates, and all of a sudden he came out and he had traps. Do you remember when we was working out and like he was just jacked, and all of a sudden you saw a bunch of golfers that were taking up the mantles, like, oh hey, he's working out and he can still hit the ball really far, and he can still chip, and he can still putt, and he's just an alpha male now, right? No, I love the idea that golf because I mean I kind of see like golf and NASCAR and stuff like that. It's like, are those really sports? Are they skills? Like what is it? But there's the endurance side of NASCAR, right? There's an endurance portion to golf, right? You have to walk it. You can't just get in a cart and run. But as far as the physical fitness goes, I mean, before Tiger, I don't really know of anybody. I mean, John Daly was a big dude, but he was drinking
He's
beers and big
drinking and
old
smoking,
big
dude.
old gut. Yeah. By the way, he's hilarious in Happy Gilmore. His character in Happy Gilmore 2 was hilarious. But yeah, so it was nice to see that Tiger was out there actually working out. I mean, his shoulder caps were defined and everything. It was amazing.
I'm with you on that. It's funny you brought that up because I looked at something just in the last couple of days. It showed Tiger, and
Uh-huh.
his upper body looks great. It does, right? And I'm not, and look, he trained and all, he trains hard and all that
Yeah.
stuff. But if you look at his legs, it's funny,
Uh,
dude. His calves, he has no calves,
no?
none,
Well,
dude.
when do you need
They're
to
like
use them?
that.
All right. All you need is
Yeah.
stability. You put on those golf spikes. All you need to be able you just need to be able to waggle your hips, right? That's the way it works.
I mean, listen, he can't make it in bodybuilding, dude. Not
He doesn't
happening.
need to, as long as he doesn't rip out his back when he's in that backswing, And but no, I think it's great. Hey, his son is actually coming up and coming.
I
He's doing
know.
he's doing great. I think it's great. Okay, so Brandon, I want to first of all, so Brandon Lewis of Aspen Green, who we're going to get into who is Brandon Lewis, and so for the edification of everybody who's watching, the five people that are watching us, we are related. We are related. We just kind of get through. So even though you are a cousin of my wife, we just kind of take the wife out of the equation. Like we are cousins. We should be brothers though, because we look almost exactly the same. In fact, you are the reason why I bought a camel colored suit because I went to a wedding and you were there. You had silver rimmed glasses and you wore a camel suit and I was like, oh my gosh, a redhead can look good in those colors. And I modeled my professionalism after you, dude.
What's hysterical about that story is you said you went to a wedding. The wedding you're referring to is your wedding.
Oh, that was my wedding. You know what? I was looking pretty good, but I will tell you this: in some of those pictures, I had like I had a flower on the lapel, and what I didn't realize is nobody came and did this for me. One of the flowers was like pointing down as if it was like dead, and in every single picture, that's all I see is that flower. Not like I go back and look at wedding albums, but every single picture is like that flower is pointing down. I'm thinking, dude, can somebody like where is the wedding? The person that comes in and goes, hey, we're gonna go and fix this for you. Nope,
That's
nothing.
funny.
Yeah. So, hey, okay, Brandon. So, you have some exciting stuff coming up, and so we are related. Um, through my wife, we are related, and which means that this conversation is going to be a little bit more familial than other ones where we're like, oh, let's touchy feely. I don't know what are they going, how they're going to react to this. I know all your closet stuff, all your sins, everything, man. We're going to pull it out today. But what I really want to talk about today is two things. You have a very interesting background in not only in business. Forget the fact that you shaved your body completely down when you were at Florida State just so you could look ripped in the mirror, right, on campus. But there's also you've been really amazing. I've set my sights on you as a mentor from afar, watching you go through business. You were the first one to get me like a cell phone. I had a Nokia cell phone, and you were the one that provided that. You bought me all the accessories when accessories were $25 a pop, and you're like, "Don't buy them. I'll give them to you," because you ran. We're going to talk about your cell phone business. We're going to talk about the rise and the fall of your cell phone business. We're going to talk about what was happening in your personal life, because a lot of that stuff was kind of edging in when you start getting busy. What kind of vices start grabbing onto you to try to pull you off that success, right? And then you fell, and bro, you fell hard. And then something happened. I think you and I know what it was. Something happened, and you were able to reinvent yourself. And every single time, you are a serial entrepreneur, never had to rely on other people to get to where you're going. Now looking back, I know that there were people strategically placed there, right? But the idea is that you continue to reinvent, you never gave up. And that is the reason why I wanted you on this show, is because we have kids that are out there looking up the ladder at CPAs and financial people and like, oh, it's a steady job, it's a boring job, it's not really it's not exciting. But it's not because they don't want to do what's exciting. That's just their personality. They'd rather be like a steady type individual, and they just want that steady paycheck. But there are people like you out there, and now me, who, man, that entrepreneur, once you get bit by that bug, you just want to go out and create, and then create. Like I want to be succeed. I'm going to fail. I don't care. I just want to go do something. I want to be relevant. And now you've taken it into a brand new company that is doing very well, and you're on the cusp of something even greater. So this is like if I had a biblical story arc, a character arc of what the rise, the fall, and the re-rise of an individual, you are living proof of that. And I just want to unpack it so people can look at you and go, how did he do it? Like, where does he get? Where does that power come from? How does he make the decisions he does? Who does he surround himself with? Because this is the kind of stuff that us as CPAs, I would like to say we get it, but we don't, because we don't take those type of risks that you have. So all that said, take us way back, man. Let's talk about the kiosks in the mall.
Well, and thanks for having me.
Yeah.
I think maybe we'll get 8 people. Maybe we'll get to double digits on this.
We might have got 10 just there, right?
Yeah, there you go. So look, I mean, you know the story, but for the listeners, I was a lost guy. I'm in school. My buddies, Kyle, right, my CFO and partner in this venture with that. It's technically AG Beverages and Brands. We own Aspen, Green, and Bolo. We'll get into that in a little bit, but with that, I'm looking at him, I'm rooming with him, and he's becoming a CPA. And so is another dear friend of mine, childhood friend. And then I've got these other friends that are going into criminal, they want to be cops, but they had a path, right? They knew what they were shooting for in school. And I'm in school and I'm like, I'm a waiter. I go play basketball. I have classes that mean nothing to me. The best classes I ever took were the public speaking courses. Looking back, there were 6 of them in my career in college. And yeah, I got a degree, but it didn't do anything for me. And I was really lost. And I was drinking and getting this other stuff too for a little while. I was really lost. And when I was about 25 and a half, I remember watching a movie. We all know Rambo. Most of us know Rambo,
right?
So the sergeant in
Blood,
Rambo.
baby.
Sergeant in Rambo is a guy named Richard Crenna. So he's in a movie with Matt Dillon called The Flamingo Kid. I was watching it really late at night, set in the 50s, and this guy, they're at the like a Swank Cabana Club up in like Jersey, and Richard Crenna's got a Ferrari dealership or something like that. And he looks at Matt Dillon, the Cabana boy, and he's like, "Hey kid, you know what? You really got what it takes to sell my cars at my dealership." And it hit me that night. It was like sales. You've been in service your whole life, since you're 15. Now you're 25, and you've got to go into sales. And the next morning, I walk in, and this counselor I was seeing to get my life together, she goes, "Hey, I met this guy named Ricky, and he's in the cell phone business. Here's his number." And I literally persisted with that guy for 6 solid weeks, calling that guy at least every week, to where then the boss was like, "Hey, I've heard about you. You're very persistent. We're going to give you a shot." And I never forget interviewing with that guy as I was laying drywall and painting a place for like $5 an hour back then. And we drilled a hole in a belt, go in. He didn't, he goes to me, "I don't care what a shower and a shave does for a guy. I know what you'll look like. That's fine. Just come over and meet me now." And I'm like, "Really? Okay." I literally went over there with shorts that like weren't mine. I'm painting gear, drilled a hole, go on the nicest shirt we could find, whatever. Fast forward through all that, this is one thing I'll never forget. That company sold, and I was with that company for probably 10 to 14 months when they sold to a larger group. And I had questions, and I'll never forget driving around Jacksonville, and I come from Miami, and then I'm in Jacksonville. I become their district manager up here, blah, blah, blah. And with that, I'll never forget when he goes, "Hey, you keep up this negativity, I'm going to squash you like a bug." And I remember looking at the phone. I remember where I was here in town
Mm.
25, 28 years ago. "You're not talking to me like that. Like, I want to kill you now." And so I ended up planning my escape. I didn't know what I was going to do. And then I decided I'm going to go start my own cell phone gig. And I did with another buddy of mine from Florida State. And then Kyle, my, again, CFO and partner,
Yep.
came in. And yeah, it exploded. We went to, I mean, I got to tell you, the first 4 years were very tough. I mean, we had so many we were getting together, you and I and Jen, and opening up the stores throughout Florida. We fast forward, we got to 108 locations around the country, about 1,000 employees. We were privately held. I'm a young dude. The vices of being in a mall,
Yeah.
the materialism, fancy watches, going to Vegas and trade shows, the next car. "Hey, you know what? If we're in business in 12 months, let's lease a jet." I mean,
Mm.
that's where we were at. And that business went to 40 million. We did 40 million in our last 12 months. And if a merger didn't happen with the international conglomerates, okay,
Yep.
uh, I want to be very careful of.
There was lots of consolidation in the industry at that time.
Yeah, but answering, when you have a $40 million business or you have a $100 million business, you're nothing when you answer to an international conglomerate.
Oh man.
That is realistically probably $1 trillion company. Okay. So if not more. So with that, we really got treated as stepkids. They had other things in mind with their mergers and consolidation and so forth. And, they gave us a bunch of smoke and stuff. And our business really was crushed with this. And I had an opportunity to sell at that time. I'm meeting with Radio Shack. I'm meeting with Sprint to bring us over to their network. I was with one of the other carriers, right? There's only 3 to 5. Okay. And it's interesting. Like here came the opportunities, but for some reason I was blinded. I do believe my partners were too, but I was blinded with the truth is on our side, and we are going to be David and their Goliath, and we're going to win. But they just have endless resources really to choke you out when you're not at that level of cash.
Yeah.
You can have a handful of millions of bucks, but they'll just keep kicking it and draining you out. And so look, through that process, and I was separated. We had this, there wasn't harmony with me and my old partners. Things ended very awkwardly. And so with that, it was time to move on. And I got humbled. I mean, I lost I literally lost it all, right?
Well, I remember
And
your first house that you had, which I thought I was like, oh my gosh, this guy he has made it. You lived over in Ponte Vedra, right in Sawgrass, and remember that that beautiful home that you had that you walk in. I can still see it. It had the glass balcony on it, and I remember leaving that night, and I turned to Jen. I was like, this guy's amazing. Like I don't even know how he did all this stuff. It's like he's so tenacious. He's like he's out there, and of course, I have a free cell phone in my hand, right? In fact, you didn't even make me pay. You said just pay for the service. It's like I'll give you everything else. You just pay for the service. And so I'm walking out of here. It's like, oh, this is what it looks like when someone's successful in business. And you were one of the first people that I knew who actually, when you would talk about business, at the time, I was just a CPA working for a public accounting firm, right? I was like, oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, let's talk about business. I know all this stuff. Like, I knew nothing about business at the time. So every time you would speak, I was like, I was just hanging on every single word. Like, what is this guy experiencing? What are these emotions that he's talking about? Because I had no frame of reference, right? Fast forward, now I understand it, and I look back at those conversations that you were preparing me for all these different steps that I was going to go through in the future. But at the time, I had my security blanket called PWC wrapped around me. I had the benefit plan. I had the 401k plan. It was steady. But there was something about when I got around you that it was what is different about this guy? Why is this guy? It feels like there's energy constantly coming out of this guy. I need to tap into that. What is it? And so every time I was around you, every single time, I was like, if it, Jen, like there's okay, we're family. Sometimes when family comes around, it's like, oh, I don't know if I want them to come to town. But anytime it was like, hey, Brandon's going to be in town. We want to go to dinner. Hey, we're going to go up to Jacksonville. Is Brandon going to be there? It's like I always wanted to know where is Brandon going to be because there's a story that's going to come out, and I'm waiting. It's like it's meaty. It's so meaty. So you probably had no idea all that stuff was happening on my side, but I was constantly watching. And so when you hit that rock bottom and everything got taken away from you, the contracts, all these different things that happened, um, I felt it for you. Because I went to those malls. I saw your kiosks. And a lot of people don't remember you didn't buy stuff on the internet back then.
that's
You
right.
would go to a mall, to a
Right.
kiosk, and right now there are no malls anymore, right? But the
Right.
kiosk is where you went. Girls with their bangs, guys with their jeans hanging low. It's like, yo, I need, get on with the Moto Razor. It's like, okay, what do you want? And you attach them to a cell phone plan. AT&T, I think that wasn't even Verizon at the time. It was something they hadn't merged yet. So all of these, there was that orange one. I mean, Singular. Remember Singular? So
I
all of these,
remember.
right? So I mean, I'm looking at these going, I don't even know how he's doing it, but he's crawling all over the southeastern United States. And I remember there was a map on your website, and this is before like websites were a big thing, right? This
Right.
is like the digital Wild West, manifest destiny, right? And I remember looking at your website and seeing the outside. It was like a silhouette of the southeastern United States and all those little blue dots of where you were. I would brag to my friends that, oh yeah, you should check this out. My cousin does this stuff. And then I would have to fess up, like, oh, he's not really my cousin. He's my wife's cousin, but he's kind of my cousin. But I would brag about it because, like, look at all these dots. I would wait for another dot to show up on those maps. And that's how in tune I was with what you were doing. Um, and so when it all fell down, I was kind of like, dude, what's he gonna do? I was at a loss. Like, what is, and of course, now from the safety of, it's kind of like when you have your own kids, they get hurt, you're on top of them. But another person's kids get hurt, you're kind of like, you should have learned, right? You should have made better decisions. From my perspective, it's like I almost felt like I was in the room because at that time you and I were having conversations, and you were asking me questions that were far above my head, far above my head. Never made me feel stupid. You were just asking, hey, how do you read this situation? And I was like, well, here's what I think. You never belittled me and said, yeah, that's just dumb. That's not the way. You have no idea what's going on in the background of this conversation, right? And I didn't. Um, but yeah, when that happened, I remember it because it was one of those things where I remember like just laying in bed going, man, what's he gonna do? Like, what happens when your dream just gets gut punched like that?
It's horrible. Here's the thing though. There's a silver lining in that, and for at least for me, and maybe not for others. I was on the road to divorce. I'm newly married, young family. yeah, I'm used to being a single dude. I'm traveling and all that stuff. And with that, the money comes in you're young. And if you're really not rooted in your faith and being and truly appreciating your family, and coming from a divorced home, two divorced homes, myself and Heather, my wife, your cousin through marriage as
Who,
well.
by the way, is a fantastic real estate agent if you're going to the Jacksonville Beach, Ponte Vedra area. But please continue.
Right. That's right. Heather Lewis. That's
Heather
right.
Lewis.
Yes. So, with that, we talk about this to this day. It would have been so easy back then with the money rolling in, get you set up in the community. You have a house. I have a house. We see, I have the kids on the weekends, stuff like that, right? And I can be selfish, right? Pretty much 100% of the time. And so with that, I had some guys in the community come up to me, two guys, and they said, I want you to know that you are the only couple, you're the only dude that I know that went down and lost it all because we had the real estate crash at this time too.
Hmm.
Shortly thereafter, okay? This happened very similar in the timing. And you're the only couple and the only guy I know that the wife has stayed with the guy when he really went belly up. And that's where looking back, I mean, I appreciate Heather and our marriage is better than ever. 23 years in, 24 years in, I'm losing track right now. But anyway, and we appreciate our family, we appreciate our relationship, our sons, Mason and Ethan. And so look through that. I mean, it was gut wrenching, and to get into another business, just because I remember when people would think everything you do turns to gold. You're so
Mm.
smart, and it's no. I just got fortunate. Was hot for a little bit, and uh, the next venture was a total disaster. I got
That was
into
the event planning, right? Event planning.
the event business. So
Yep.
right at the crash, so we got out of the wireless basically at the kind of at the end of '05.
Okay.
And with that, um, I had thought about getting back in for a little bit, and I'm like, no, I'm going to move on to something else, because you made money, you're going to make it again, kind of deal, that arrogance that's there. And
Yeah.
then get into this event business from one of my sales guys, one of my lead sales guys, brought something to my attention, and it sounded good. It looked like a moneymaker on paper. But what I didn't realize is the promoters of these events, they
Mm.
actually lie about the attendance. Okay, so if they tell you they got 10,000 people showing up, I'm not kidding, they might have 2,500.
Oh, really?
It's common in the business. And so to go there and have these events and just see it fail, and I'm like, man, oh man. Fast forward, we ran about six of those around the country. I had some in Texas, Chicago, in South Florida, one in North Carolina. But anyway, so fast forward through all that, then I'm left with really nothing because I just lost. I'm out of my wireless business, and here's this next bet, and I go heavy in this next bet, and it doesn't work. And I'm holding a bunch of real estate while the market is absolutely crashing, right?
Mm.
So through that, that's another story. It's quite interesting that actually your listeners should know. I want to come back to that.
Run the rabbit trail, man. Okay.
The banking there is quite interesting because when I bought a house and a banker looks at me, the appraiser, and he goes, so and so from one of the major banks that we banked at,
Uh-huh.
so and so called me and told me I have to get this deal done. So what did they do? They gave me an appraisal that was no joke, 25% higher than what I was paying for the house to get the deal done. That's what the banks did back then.
Wow.
Okay. And they wouldn't, and so they made a bet. They made a business bet that this is the deal. And then when I go down, I've got all these ramifications with them chasing me. And the bankers got bought out with $7.7 trillion back in, remember Occupy
TARP,
Wall,
baby.
all this stuff. The bankers literally got $7.7 trillion and they didn't have to pay back a dime, nothing. Okay. And people don't realize that in the United States. They get all, this is something that's massive. So I want to,
Hmm.
now, anyway, we answer to the real powerful folks. You can have your business, you can be privately held, but when you're going up that chain,
Oh, yeah.
oh man, dude.
And they're
And
sharks. They are
yeah,
sharks.
yeah. And then you've got the politicians involved too and how they get regulation. Look,
Yep.
with the deal with the mergers and M&A, how many wireless companies were around back then? In 2000, there might have been like 20. Okay. Then you get to 2000 and you can name maybe three right now.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So, Colin Powell's son, Michael Powell, was the chairman of the FCC, and he actually approved the deal. When you said Singular, AT&T and Singular merged. Okay. It was really Southwestern Bell.
To become AT&T Wireless, right? That's what it was.
Well, it was AT&T Wireless, which was
Okay.
owned by yeah, AT&T, and then they sold to Southwestern Bell, and
Okay.
and from a mobile standpoint, it was the Orange X Singular was their
Yeah.
wireless division, but now AT&T back that you see is really Southwestern Bell.
Oh, is that right? Okay.
Yeah, it's not AT. It's from years ago, from 20 years ago.
Sure, sure.
And what's ironic is I've become friends with a couple executives from AT&T since then, and
Yeah.
and they're great dudes, a couple buddies of mine, and I'm like, and they didn't know me back then. They're, this is after the fact, right? They got in their positions, and then I meet them out in the community and stuff, and it's just the way it went, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so anyway, so look, to get into this event business for about 11 months and then to go belly up, you asked your friends and family, well, what are you in? So Heather's cousin had done some executive search in pharmaceutical advertising. And I said to him, he was working with me, and I said, hey, man, unless we have a flood of people, a sea out of nowhere,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, from the God above, if he doesn't open up the floodgates with a bunch of people coming to the show, this thing is toast. It's over. It's done. There's got to be something else. And hey, why don't you teach me that business? Show me what you know. Fast forward through that. There wasn't LinkedIn had just started.
Yeah.
I remember counting, I'm at 100 people on LinkedIn.
and that was good.
Yeah, and that was
Yeah.
serious.
Like, what? You have 100 people?
So I get into executive search, and I have a book, like an old phone book. It
Yeah.
was called the Pharmaceutical Marketers Directory. And I would call like crazy. I would drop voicemails. I would get people live.
When people still listen to voicemails.
Yeah. And then to take them, and then I would market them via email to C-suites.
Mm.
Okay. And you never knew. So you would have somebody's anonymous biography, if you will, career snapshot, highlight list. You take it and you would email it out to C-suites and in the industry. And then boom, that's how you spark the conversation. It's timing. You don't know what their needs are anywhere. You don't have, I'm starting from ground zero with these places.
Yeah.
And so fast forward through that, I had about 65 clients in my career in pharmaceutical marketing and healthcare advertising, most of which in the Northeast, the pharma corridor. You had some down in the Research Triangle Park in North Carolina, the Bay Area, Chicago as well. And I never, man, Mason said to me one day, he goes, Dad, why do you do something you hate?
Mm.
And I said, let's break down the pros and the cons. I answer to these clients. The money isn't even in the same hemisphere as the cell phones.
Yeah.
It's not even close, man. Okay. And I don't see where this is actually really growing, and I'm not excited about it.
Mm-hmm.
And what I really don't like is I don't appreciate people who are not straight shooters. And in life, it's people, man. So with that, in the recruitment business, the product is a candidate, is a person.
People. That's
It's
right.
people. But the problem is that candidate isn't always telling you the truth. And by the way, your client, they're not telling you the truth. They may get another resume from
gosh.
somebody else. They just want to see a pipeline of resumes sometimes to say, hey, I checked boxes. I had 5 resumes come in, but we already had the best candidate over here. And you get your wheels spun all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
You got backdoor hires where you're getting ripped off. And look, and I've chased a couple of times at a principal and won. But when that stuff happens, when you're chasing people, you get sidetracked on productivity and positivity. You get sucked into negativity. And I don't like that. I want to remain positive and be forward thinking and not dwell on, the negatives.
Then once the negativity starts, it's very difficult to pull yourself out of it because you find yourself surrounding yourself with other negative people. It's like it feeds on it, and all of a sudden you look around and you're like, how did I even get here? It's that quick. It's such a slippery slope when that negativity starts pulling in, and then your brain starts thinking things a little bit differently, and you wake up one day and you just feel like, how did I even get here? Why am I even hanging out with that dude? Why am I even associated with this? Whereas on the positivity side, you can also do the same thing when you're positive, and you know this. You have that positivity spin. You attract people who want negative people look at it and go, "What's different about that guy?" It's like, I kind of want to be around that person. You start talking to them in a positive manner. All of a sudden, they stop being negative, and it begets more positivity, more positivity. It's not to say it's going to solve all the problems, but it sure is much better to be on the positive side with a smile on your face than it is to be always downtrodden and just shaking your fist at the world. That woe is me, the whole martyr syndrome. So now that you're turning this corner from Titanium Search, how do you get into Aspen Green?
So with that, I had been, I don't, this is not a religious podcast, right? This is not, it's not about, well, everything for me is,
Well, I will
I'm
tell you
above,
this. Anytime
I'm
anybody
above.
loses money, when people lose money, that's the time that they turn to God. Because they're like, come on, God, please, right? They're always praying. I have my own reservations about that, but you and I are both believers. We're both Christians. It's okay to wear that on your sleeve because that's who we are. If that's part of the story, give me the story, man.
Yeah. So look, with that, and look, and back when we had the wireless thing too, of course, look, I'm going to church. We taught Sunday school, but I'm not living right. Okay.
Right.
I'm just not. And so with that, while I was in the search business for probably 10 years, like no joke, 10 years, I am asking God to give me something that I am juiced up about. And my prayer request from above, and for those listening that maybe aren't, it's okay. Sending a signal to space, to the star. The star is more powerful than you. See if the universe answers you back, right? And so with that, and I heard that when I was 25 and I was getting my life together, and I remember hearing an old guy say that, and I'm like, oh, I kind of like that, right? I kind of like that. Let me send a signal up above. So with that, I'm asking God for creativity, wisdom, direction, discernment, energy, favor for 10 years. And I've added since then courage without it being catastrophic. You got to
I like
be,
that.
okay? Because you got to be
Yep.
careful for what you pray for.
Oh yeah, he'll
And then
bring it.
obviously joy and peace and health and safety. And that's something that I pray pretty much every day. And I pray it over my family, right? Asking that over my sons, Ethan and Mason, my wife, Heather, and other family members too. But my core unit,
Yeah,
obviously,
of course.
all the time. And so look, with that, I did not, I had something going on with while I was in the search business and I did have clients, I would ask to be good at that business, you need information so you can perform at the best level, right? So with that, I'm asking about, well, what kind of experience or expertise, any therapeutic categories that are needed? Okay. And there's a variety of searches that I did, different skill sets and stuff, executive level stuff. But anyway, with that, I would hear pain. And we started hearing about the opioids and
Oh,
pharma and Teva was another one. And it really made me like in my stomach go, man, I don't want to be doing this. Like this is not, I just don't dig this. And I would go back to in my head, man, I wish I had a product because the product doesn't lie, right? The product is the product. The phone works or it doesn't work, right? Uh, the and then here we go. So through this, I'm a lover of the Rockies, Colorado, and I'm going out there all the time for 25 years. My dream is to have a place out there. Of course, I want it on a ski mountain. I love that. It's so expensive. So look, with that, uh, you know, I thought, hey, I'm going to get into this marijuana business and I'm going to open up retail stores, kind of like the cell phone stores, and maybe I bring the band back together.
oh,
I
cool.
these guys that used to work with me, the younger guys, let's get out there and do it. But then I'm like, but I'm not a pot connoisseur. And I never enjoyed smoking pot. So it's like, huh, how does this work? Fast forward, every state does it differently. I
Hmm.
became very disheartened. I'm out in Colorado then, and I'm learning there because they were pioneers in the space with some of the West Coast states. Then I'm in Orlando and I'm listening to what's going on here in Florida, and I became very disheartened. I realized how political it is. They give out 5 licenses. You have to be the grower. It's got to be vertical. You got to do everything. Giant undertaking,
Hmm.
massive. So fast forward through that, I get called. I'm sitting at the same spot. I get called by a guy who, very wealthy dude, has a brand that he marketed out there in deli meats. Everybody can figure that out, right? The biggest brand in deli meats probably in the country.
Delicious.
Huh?
Delicious meats.
Yeah,
Right?
so yeah, delicious meats and cheeses.
That's right.
So, so with that, he called me up and he goes, "What do you think about this CBD thing?" And I'm like, "I think it's a fad." He caught me at a bad moment. Couple months later, he shows me he's repping a brand. This guy's an entrepreneur, a hustler. He's selling stuff all the time.
Hmm.
And so he asked me to get in with him, and it never felt right because I was talking to him, inviting him to different things and stuff. So fast forward through that, I go, look, I I want to help people. I make a decent living in this search business. You know, I don't want to do this and not know the whole supply chain from the farm all the way
Hmm.
through. Fast forward through that, I called up one of my clients, a buddy named Frank Powers, Elevate Healthcare Marketing. He was at a different company before. He's at a Bluebell, PA. Frank is a great dude. Frank, I call him up and I say, "Hey, I'm going to start my own hemp and cannabis business. Um, really, it's a health and wellness business. And can you help me bring the brand to life?" And he goes, "Well, what do you have?" And I go, "I've got the name Aspen Green." And he goes, "What else do you have?" I go, "That's it."
Got the
He
name
goes,
Aspen Green.
he goes, "How'd you come up with it?" And I go, "I woke up at 2 a.m. and I went and bought all these websites." And then he goes to me that the best creative comes in one of two states: when your endorphins are kicking from great workouts, right? Or
Okay.
your subconscious state while you're sleeping.
Okay.
Okay, and here he is, a creative agency. He's been in advertising for, at the time, probably 25, 30 years, and has done CPG stuff and then the pharma stuff too. So anyway, fast forward through that, the mark, the logo, and we were really more of a medicinal brand, but we weren't. We would not say things like, you can't say pain relief because
Okay.
the FDA, you can market a product. Pharma companies, if you're helping people with arthritis, you can't say that. You just can't.
Okay.
Because they have they're going to send you a cease and desist letter, a fine, blah blah blah, all that stuff from the FDA. So we won't say pain, we say relief. I don't even say sleep, I say rest,
Hmm.
right? Anxiety and stress, I don't say that, I say calm. So with that, we were marketing to functional medicine docs and chiropractors, and this happened while in conjunction I've got my executive search, right? So I'm segueing out of that, trying to hand that off to somebody who was working with me for a number of years, and we were out there, and I realized how difficult it is really selling to docs. Docs aren't retailers. They make money through the patients that they see, and they're making it through insurance, kicking them back cash. Okay.
Okay.
So we got to experience this is not working that great with the doc level. And during that time, I had a guy speak some wisdom into me where he goes, "Hey, I've done this B2B and I've sold the docs and stuff." He's like, you gotta go straight to the consumer. And it was resonating with me.
Okay.
And I remember calling back Kyle. I did a show in Texas, in Dallas. This is right before COVID,
Okay.
February. I have 33 trade shows booked, by the way, in 2020. I've already done about 7. Kyle, my partner, is working a American Chiropractic Conference in DC. He's coming back. I'm coming back from Dallas at the same time. And I tell him, "Dude, this is for the birds. We have to go straight to the consumer." How do we do that, Tim? I don't have any e-com experience.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I'm sending signals above asking for the right people to come on board. And that's the other thing. You have to have a team, and you have to have a team of like really good experts. They've
Got it.
got to,
Yep.
they've got to excel in that position. And bootstrapping a company up, it's been on my shoulders, and that's the way I want it. But at some point, I mean, I'm looking forward. We are going to bring in capital here
Right. Right.
as we're scaling. But with that, you don't want to give up your whole company when you're too small. You're not showing profits. Blah blah blah.
Yep.
There's really no like growth like that, right? So anyway, with that, um, I had a bunch of consultants, and I don't know who to believe. And I've had 50 million pitches, okay, from digital marketing agencies,
Yep.
right? And what they're going to do online, and performance marketing and affiliate marketing and all this stuff. Man, it is unbelievable how taxing it is, and especially when they're pitching me. But I don't even know. I'm like, I've got like at the time a kindergarten level of knowledge. I get to third grade maybe. I may have gone to middle school, and now today I might say I'm in high school. But I don't. I would. Do I have a degree? Maybe I have a degree, but I don't have a PhD. I'm not the PhD. You're the PhD.
Yeah.
I don't have the
Yeah.
PhD. So with that, I've been asking from above uh, for the right people to be on my team. I need the right skill sets from a COO, from a sales guy, from a chief marketing officer who understands the digital ecom game. Take that over. I need the right guy who can handle the B2B play out there with the retailers. I need the right ops guy who comes from the alc bev space and understands working with the retailers and distribution, who also has an understanding in sales too. And these pieces are coming like this right now, right? And by the way, we have Doc Adam Perlman on our website and I'm flattered to have him on the team. We went out to dinner last night, him, Kyle, my buddy, another our sales lead. And so with this, he's a functional medicine doc. He didn't come in here just because we were in the neighborhood. The Mayo Clinic's right here. He's former Mayo Clinic for 5 years.
Wow.
This
That's a
guy's
big deal.
shredded.
That's a big deal.
Yeah, this guy's shredded, no fat. He was at Duke, same type of position. It's all about the diet before a pill. A true doc, right? Who will sit with you it's a patient to him, not a patient to me. I'm not a doc, but a patient to him, where he's going to spend an hour and a half. Who does that?
Yeah.
In today's healthcare system that are money making, they got to have turnover. So with that, he formulated all of our products with us, and making sure that they were the right functional herbs for these different experiences that we're looking for. And
Now, just to be sure, so you're still talking to Aspen Green. You're talking the gummies right now, right? Because you dropped Alk Bev in there, so I want to make sure, because we're going to get to the Alk Bev stuff, but are we still talking about the gummy formulation? Or are we now moving into?
Yeah, I'm glad you look. The packaging and the whole brand has changed.
Okay.
Okay, it's changed, right? We came out marketing to chiros, functional medicine docs, and it had a very masculine, because those were most of the docs. It had a masculine feel, okay, with them as our audience,
Okay.
and with that, we then changed packaging. I knew I needed more of a consumer-facing packaging. And I knew that for Aspen Green, at least, I knew that the data we had, that females were 63% of our customer base.
Yeah.
So we need to listen to them more than the male, right?
There you go.
You got to look at the data.
Yep.
So with that,
and the product we're promoting right now, this is the gummy product, correct? And the pet drops and things like that. This is not the beverages yet.
Yeah, this is pre-bev.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay, good. No, just want to make sure timeline-wise.
Way pre-bev. Perlman came in probably a solid 3 years ago, and it took him about a year to come on. And he literally would be at Mayo Clinic recommending our products to his patients because he believed
fantastic.
Before he came in. Okay. So, being USDA certified organic, just all clean stuff from soil all the way through. Okay. And he's been on the tours, seeing every facility and all that jazz. So with that, we have the gummies, we have the tinctures, right? The droppers, but most people want gummies over a tincture bottle. Then we have the pet products. which there are cannabis veterinarians that helped us formulate with our pet products. They're great. They're fantastic. They are. Then we have women's intimacy products, okay, which for the ladies, it works. It just does. You know, and Heather and Val, Kyle, my partner, his wife Val, they're like, wow, this stuff is outrageous. You have to make this stuff. And so, and I hear it over and over. But fast forward through this, we have a business, right? So we have to see growth. We have to look at our best selling SKUs, right? And with that, the like the dog products, I love them, but we're not a dog company.
Yeah.
Right? We're a health and wellness brand more for humans. So really our dog products are going to phase out over time.
Yeah. And by the way, the dog products are great. I mean, when little Josie, when there's a thunderstorm that comes through, we give her a couple drops and she's just super chill, right? But what you said something that I wanted to make sure we grabbed is that as you start listening to the marketing data and I mean, you're building this business. Do you have any investors in this company right now? Where are you still shouldering this? Are you taking on the debt? Are you taking on all of the burden of standing up this company on your own? Right? You keep mentioning Kyle, and Kyle's great CPA, very accomplished in his own right. But is there money in? Are you taking money? Are you paying him out of the loans that you're getting? Because what I'm trying to figure out here is that you started this cell phone company years ago based off of, hey, I got some grit and I'm gonna stand this thing up. You had a lot of money. You lost the money. You lost even more money in the event space. Now you're restarting with this search company, making a little bit of money to invest in this new adventure, which is Aspen Green. So it's all of your money. It's all of your resources. You're all in. This is a serial entrepreneur issue, right? We keep going and going. And so now, at this moment, you're in the timeline, are you the one that's money in? Are you the one wearing all of the stress of having to make sure that the banks are in play, that you're keeping investors at bay, that the vendor relationships are there, that the distribution is on? Is that all falling on your shoulders?
I mean, Tim, that's a loaded question. But in short, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I mean, this is, again, I'd have to sell the company and go back to work if I took in investors too early, right? I need my valuation to be where I want it to be.
But see, that's a huge part of the story though, because what a lot of people don't realize is that founders that own it, that basically put their arms like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to bootstrap it myself. Some people on the outside is like, dude, there's plenty of money. Why don't you just take the money? Like, because once you take money, you take personalities, and it completely changes the feel of the company. And so in your perspective, you were able to keep them at bay. Forget about valuation. You're able to keep them at bay and still somehow cobble this together. A little bit of sales, a little bit of this, a little bit of this, talking to the banks, second mortgage, all these different things that really real entrepreneurs do. Nobody tells them that they're going to have to do this until they get into it. And you're now living it twice, 3 times. Now you're on a trajectory to where your products are, you have doctors that are out there saying, hey, this is good stuff. You have people on the golf courses that are saying, hey, Brandon, this is good stuff. And now you're at a point where, hey, there's a new wave that's coming through your area in the beverage area, right? That you look at and you go, okay, hold on a second. This is where I need to be. You have products behind you for Aspen Green and BOLO, right? Be on the lookout for a great time. Okay, this is it. I feel it. I feel like this is the one that's going to hit. How'd you get into it? Where do we need to go with this?
So Heather had been on me for a couple of years to make drinks. Okay. The women want an alternative to alcohol.
Okay.
Alcohol sales, the data's out there. In 2024, alcohol sales went down for the first time in history. Okay. And you're talking to a guy here who's 28 years without booze, right? And didn't do anything else.
Yeah, I mean, you've had your own personal struggles with alcohol. So, which I think, by the way, is one of the things you probably hear about it all the time. It's like, Brandon, I don't get it. So how is it that you are a teetotaler, but now you're in a company that does THC and CBD? It's like, is that hypocritical? Tell me, how do you answer that question?
No, look, I mean, here's the thing. I know plenty of other people that I respect that use cannabis, whether they smoke it, eat it, drink it, whatever. And through that, me getting into the business, I got to tell you, I don't enjoy smoking. I really don't.
Okay.
The edibles, I do love our edibles, but the drinks are social. We want to be social. We want to hang out. So having the drink, you're a part of being social and you can get that relaxation. You can, of course, you can have too much and get too high. That can happen.
Just like with everything in moderation, right? You said something the other day when we were talking with a buddy about the three different ways that you take in this product, right? The smoke, the edible, and then the drink. Can you just, because I thought it was so fascinating because you're a guy in the business, but you were talking from a personal perspective of how does this work? Can you say like how fast it hits you, how hard it hits
Sure,
you?
sure.
Because I think that's really important.
Yeah, no, when you smoke, it hits you and it goes right to your brain like really fast, right? It hits your lungs and then you feel it in your head super fast.
Uh-huh.
And then an edible depends on what you got in your system. You don't know, and it can just hit you like hard. And I mean, I've done it enough where I'm not going to eat another edible, waiting
Hmm.
and have double the potency hitting me that I didn't want because I've done it enough. But with that, then the drinks, it's just really a smooth ride. There's something there with the drinks and maybe the bloodstream and the digestive tract where you're not just going to slam your drink. You could, of course, um, but it's just a really smooth ride. And I have that, I've experienced that, and I'm getting this feedback now from so many customers and people I've handed stuff out to from samplings as well. Um, and it is a revolution. And so with the drinks, what we have the Aspen Green cocktail line.
Okay.
These I really believe are the
And
best.
that's over your right shoulder, correct?
Yeah, yeah, my right
Okay.
shoulder, and here's like right here is the Amalfi
Okay.
Spritz, a playoff of an Aperol Spritz, a well-known drink uh,
Okay.
out there, and this is made with all organic ingredients, including real fruit puree, magnesium, ashwagandha, L-theanine, and it is a light carbonation, not a bubbly LaCroix, none of those, right? They're so bubbly. It's not flat, just really light and crisp. It has a nice, this entire line, very light, very refreshing. Organic agave and monk fruit are our sugars that we use. Only 16 grams of total sugar in a 12-ounce can. Most companies are splitting up the can, trying to
Hmm.
trick you on how much sugar's in there. Or on the flip side, if they're marketing no sugar, zero sugar, they're using artificials and they don't taste good.
No,
So,
no.
and look, I've been doing this long enough. I know when the consumer does not like the taste of a product, they will not keep taking it. Okay. And in the early days of our business, I went through some of that. Okay.
Yep.
So with that, we have the Amalfi Spritz, which is a citrus, which is Sicilian lemon and blood orange, a little bitter, freaking delicious.
And that one specifically, that one you're catering more to the feminine mystique.
Absolutely. But I'm going to tell you what, I freaking love that drink.
Oh no, it's a wonderful drink. When we were able to do taste tests of this over at your home the other night, it was like, I mean, even Jennifer, my wife Jennifer, she's like she's like, that's a really good drink, and it's a sipping drink. You don't want to blow through something like that. It's almost like you would have a glass of wine. You would use that instead of your glass of wine. The difference being that alcohol the next day you feel kind of bloated, your face is a little puffy. You wake up the next day, you're like, bro, I am alert. It's like there's the residual effects are zero. So I understand the idea of switching out from the alcohol to the THC products. I'm a believer. I think it's great. I'm interested in how you with that marketing data you have this Alfani spritz to where now you have on your left shoulder you have be on the lookout. This is like is it this what this the manly drink? What is the be what is the difference between the two brands?
Yeah, I'm gonna connect them here in a
Yeah,
second. But
go.
but with Aspen Green, okay, there's four flavors. There's strawberry margarita, there's a peach Bellini with elderflower, there's the Concord Transfusion, which is the transfusion is the number one drink on the golf course. Okay, I made
Okay.
that for the guys, and this is a smash hit out here at the club. And the girls are loving this drink too. If anybody likes a grape flavor, this is outrageous.
Okay.
So, look, with that, and we sell them in variety packs too. Okay.
Okay.
Online at aspengreen.com and in the retail stores. Total Wine, by the way, we'll get to Total Wine in a second.
Fantastic.
So with that, I always had in mind for years, 5-6 years, I needed the young dude line.
Okay.
And it was BOLO. And BOLO stood for be on the lookout. It's a cop term. It's catchy, it's edgy. And so with that, this BOLO line, is basically an energy drink that has no caffeine and also is low cal and low sugar at that 16 mgs and 60. This has 60 calories. Aspen Green has 70 calories in the sugar count. This does not have the organic ingredients, but what this has in my BOLO line, it has a unique cannabinoid, which is a nutrient. Everybody's heard of THC and CBD. THC,
okay.
the V is a very much a focus, creativity, and energy type of experience. Okay, that's in my Bliss gummies and my Bliss oil.
Okay.
It's also in our intimacy products. Okay, for whatever reason, it's also the way it's stimulating the nerves for the female libido.
Okay.
Is there, and this is loaded. These are, I've got a mango flavor, the sour apple, blue raz, and a water, we call it waterberry, watermelon, strawberry, and they're loaded with aminos, electrolytes, the magnesium threonate, the L-carnitine, and L-theanine with potassium. Actually,
Yeah.
Jen was at the house before you came over. Jen was at the house a couple months ago, and she was reading the ingredients, and she goes, "Wow, this is really good. This has got a lot of electrolytes and aminos." So on the front of the can, we're actually going to change it to where it says clean energy plus electrolytes in the next round of packaging. It's already on.
Well, and to kind of give a shout out to Jen, I mean, so with her pediatric practitioner background and her medical background, and with the health and wellness stuff that she's doing with Faster Way for the fat loss, she studies macros, she studies ingredients. And so one of the things that I've heard you say that's been very consistent across the board is you've always gone back to the quality of the ingredients. Who is the farmer? Where is the farm? What's the processing plant look? Is it a dirty processing plant? I remember when you were actually going around and flying out to these places and putting on the hair nets, putting on the suits and walking around these places almost as if you had a white glove and you were saying, "Is this good? Is this good?" So you've personally been through the entire cycle of how your product is made, and you can personally attest to the quality and the value of all those different products or all those different materials and the processing process,
Yeah,
production process.
Yeah, and look, I'm big on that. Though I know my whole supply chain. These are our custom formulations. This is our heart and soul, and that's where my hands are in everything as whatever,
Right.
CEO, janitor, whatever. You got to do what you got to do. Titles don't matter.
Right.
It's roll up your sleeves, get in there, get it done, and it gets so much more fun too when you have a team and you have the team of experts coming. Like I have my chief marketing officer, Sean Kennett, ex-Arizona Hard Tea. Love it. Coming from Alpbev. I can't tell you the name of my COO coming in because right now he's still employed at a giant multi-billion-dollar.
Awesome. I'm excited for you.
Alpbev space. And then my national sales guy who was 30 years in the business as well. And, it's just having that team. And Doc Perlman, Adam, with these, I'm going to tell you with the BOLOs, okay, we originally had these at 30 grams of sugar, okay?
Wow.
And they were delicious. Do not get me wrong.
Yeah.
But Perlman was on me. He's like, "Listen, man, I'm telling you, I'm not feeling good with the sugar count." And I go, "I hear you." And so I had my formulator send me some other batches with basically half the sugar count.
Okay.
And we did a blind testing with my sons, with Ethan and Mason and a couple of their buddies and me. The overwhelming feedback, we all said the same thing, that the one with more sugar was absolutely delicious, but the one that had less sugar was more refreshing and hydrating.
Oh, there you go.
And I could drink two. Ding, ding, ding. Right? So there you go. And so it's listening to, and the same thing would look at the Aspen Green cocktail line. We had this at 7 to 9 grams of sugar, but the ladies drinking it with Heather, they were coming back going, "It just needs to be a little sweeter." it needs to be a little sweeter for me to go, that is fantastic.
Okay.
That's the
Okay.
idea, right? So yeah, and then look, right now where we're at is distribution, right? You have to have sales.
Yep.
So you have to have relationships obviously help. It's all relationships, right? And we have to have relationships opening up doors and bringing forth the right partners. And that's the other thing I pray for is the right partnerships, the right distributors, the right retailers for us to blend with and do great things together with. And with that, Total Wine just agreed literally this week to bring us in to Florida into 41 locations. And we are so pumped up on that.
Congratulations, man.
Yeah,
That was a big deal. I remember. I mean,
thank
it's
you.
been we've been talking about it. We've been talking about it, praying about it, and so the fact that they finally come through, that's a huge milestone for you. And like I could see it, man. I could see it. It's like I feel like I'm climbing that Aspen Green mountain, and eventually you're going to be standing at the top of this thing, shouting it out to everybody. It's like, hey, we're back.
Yeah. What do you mean by we're back?
You're back is what I'm saying, is that the rise, the fall, the rise. And but the thing is that now you're back on the precipice of this and you're almost there. You're almost there. But you're so much wiser. You've got a great team around you. You've got family that believes in you, that loves you. You have a wife that stuck by you through this whole thing. And now you're the reason why people look at the American dream and go, it's possible.
We're not there yet, and I appreciate that, Tim. Of course, but you can't get cocky. You can't count your chickens as they hatch.
I appreciate that. Yep,
You
humility.
gotta keep your ego in check. You can't
Yes,
go,
sir.
it's me. How did I do? I didn't do it. I'm not. I'm doing my part. Okay. And frankly, when I'm not working, I actually like have a guilt because I could work non-freaking stop.
I understand that. I
I can
understand
work
that.
nonstop.
I understand that.
But I also have to enjoy my life and have some family time. And I've got my hobby. Look, I do enjoy lifting and staying in shape. It's not like the old days. It's not like you. Even though I'm the older cousin, you are the more jacked cousin for this podcast. We can go do a little flex off right there. So, with that, I just like to stay in shape, but I love hitting my golf balls.
You sure do.
Right? I've got my Aspen Green golf bag and head covers. I've got all that. By the way, we're sponsoring a surf event. There's a pro surf event coming to Jack's Beach.
Nice.
26 to 28. 120 pro surfers are coming. We're excited about that. We're going to have a BOLO surfboard that's totally BOLO's crowd.
You'll have to get JD out there. He looks like a surfer.
He does. That's right. Yeah, we'll have him come out. So, look, I do look very forward to it being, I want this from a competitive standpoint within myself to be way, way better and bigger than the cell phone experience. But that's really, and again, not to get all religious, to me, that's thanking God for what he does, right? What he does. How I don't feel like I'm a creative dude. I don't. Okay. I feel like I'm a Mad Hatter. I'm not organized. I need people on my team who are, right? And yeah, maybe I do have some ideas and stuff, but where am I getting these ideas from? Where am I getting the positivity from? I literally am knocking on the door above and asking, I need that. I need that. And there's nothing more gratifying than people experiencing that. If I'm not excited as a leader, if you are not excited about your business, you will never
100% agree.
be successful.
100% agree.
Right? And I mean,
no one will ever care more than you about your business. And if you're not excited, no one else is.
That's it right there. So I'm on fire right now, and everybody can see it, right? And I believe in what we do. I've taken 1,000 customer phone calls myself when I bootstrap this up, right? And so people thanking me for the relief and the experience and all this stuff that they've had. It's so gratifying there. And actually, Perlman asked me that last night at dinner because he's the doc, right? He's helping people. And he goes, I know we're focused on the beverages and this is what's changing the game. I get it. But we can't forget we still help people. And I said, that's funny you said that. Here I go. I got a text with somebody I do business with father-in-law's got cancer. I sent them a care package. I send them stuff. I'm like, oh no, you need to be taking this stuff to help you with the relief and the pain that you're dealing with and stuff like that. So,
Yeah.
anyway, um, we love helping people, and we know we have absolutely best in class products. I don't think anybody makes a better product in the beverage space than we do. And I don't think they make it in the gummy space better than we do. I, and even and my topicals, my intimacy cream, I don't
Right.
believe they do. Now it's just, let's go, let's sell. So
Yeah.
my COO, listen, the Total Wine thing, that's where it starts. Right now, we've got a major retail chain too in Florida
Great.
that everybody in Florida would know. I can't release it yet. That one's at the goal line too, and that one could be 340 locations.
My
Okay.
goodness.
And then we've got another major retailer with 130 locations that we're knocking on the door with. And look, all will happen in due time, right? And the way the pieces align, look, nothing's perfect, everybody, right? You have manufacturing business. There's nothing perfect. There's problems every day. What's the solution, right? I was coming back with Perlman last night from dinner, and that was something we were talking about. That there's a problem. I can't focus on what was necessarily wrong or getting caught up in something in the negativity. I need to focus on the solution
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
where we're at. And that's why I'm not in studio with you, because I need to deal with some stuff locally too. I got to be on site manufacturing. We manufacture in Lakeland, Florida, across the street from Publix. The facility is phenomenal, like world class. We do what's called tunnel pasteurization, so we don't have preservatives in our drinks. I don't want
That's
preservatives in the drinks. I want the consumer to have the best tasting product, have the best experience,
yeah.
right? Have that
So,
great.
question for you then. So we're probably drawing to a close
Yep.
here. I just want to say, first of all, I really appreciate you sharing all this stuff. I know that you've had a really interesting road. Like I said, I've been on the outside looking in. Every once in a while, you pull me in, say, "Hey, what you got?" And I get to kind of be a part of it. But I know that you're wearing this, and it makes it's super exciting to see an entrepreneur who has an idea and it starts moving. You see the wheels starting to gain traction, and all of a sudden there's that excitement. People are getting excited. You're getting excited. We're talking about it today. It's something that it's so very difficult to capture what that feels like in a bottle. But I'm glad to hear that it's coming back for you. I'm always there for you. Obviously, family, we're there. I want you to be successful. Like if someone's going to go and look for your products, where would they go for these?
Great question. Thank you. Well, Aspen Green, aspengreen.com. And
Okay.
all the social handles are try Aspen Green.
TRY Aspen Green. Okay.
TRY Aspen Green. Please follow us on all the social handles, comment, order at aspengreen.com. And
Okay.
then if you go over to Bolo, the website is bolodrinks.com.
Okay.
Okay. And the social handles are Drink Bolo. We
Okay.
can put them up because somebody else had them, etc. So Drink Bolo for all the social handles, and then bolodrinks.com. The retailer, at least to start with, is Total Wine in Florida, but we are on the verge of doing a deal with distribution in the state of Georgia. We also
Great.
have a deal signed for Tennessee. So we're going to be in Tennessee. In Georgia, you'll see us at the liquor stores, some grocery. Depends on every
So
state.
awesome.
We do it
So
differently.
awesome.
Okay. And then we'll update it on our site too, where we'll have a store locator, right? A lot of people want to walk into a store and get their product versus having to wait for it to ship. And frankly, that's a whole that they'll be cheaper in the store than they will be online because
Okay.
of shipping, the cost of shipping, the convenience it's just that's part of the
But that's fair. That's fair.
liquid.
Um, well, listen, man. Again, I'm very proud of you. I like the way that you're just so tenacious. You're jumping out there. You wear more than just business on your sleeves. You wear family. You wear faith. You really are the reason why entrepreneurs are really sought after. I'm really excited that you were able to come on the show and just share that with our audience. For those in the finance and accounting world, if this is something that you're interested in, we'll put it in the show notes of how to get in touch with Brandon, how to get in touch with Aspen Green, with Bolo. We'll probably put a little blurb on there if you wouldn't mind sharing something about Dr. Adam. This is it's a new thing. People are a little unsure about it, but it's people were unsure about alcohol years ago when the Vikings were clanging, grogs together. I think it's something that it's an alternative. It's not an alternative lifestyle. It's an alternative. And I think that in the finance and accounting world where there's a lot of stress, perhaps this could be one of those things that could kind of take the edge off during a really tough busy season. So all that said, Brandon, thank you so much for being on Business Biceps in BS. And I hope to in the future we're gonna get you back on the show when you're like the kingpin at the pinnacle, right? All right, love you, buddy.
Love you too, Tim. Thanks.
Talk to you, man.
Appreciate it.
You got it, bro. Talk, bye.
See you.